Well, this issue has been amazingly polarizing. I don't think I've gone anywhere in the past few weeks without having people come up to me to talk about it, and usually they're split. I mean, I think I've gotten as many on one side as the other. The truth of the matter is this is not an easy question. There is an argument to be made on both sides, and I know, because like a true lawyer, I have argued both sides to myself and other people. But ultimately, there are two aspects of this situation that have really been decisive for me. First of all, this so-called neighborhood market is a small store by Walmart standards, but it is not a small store. And it is likely to be much more than what most of us think of as a simple neighborhood market, because it is a Walmart market. To their credit, Walmart has really tried, I think, very hard to accommodate the concerns of the neighbors on Normal, and they have tried to conform the project to the existing space. But I think there are some real limitations to this space that were not immediately apparent to me when I first looked at this project. It is, in my opinion, substantially different from the neighborhood market on Glenstone, for example, because the market on Glenstone has some easy alternative access. It has a large parking lot where traffic can move fairly easily, and not just in that market, but from parking lot to parking lot if necessary. So the traffic moves fairly comfortably at that location. I am very familiar with the Campbell-Grand Street intersection. I travel it frequently. I don't need a paid expert or a traffic study to tell me that that market, if it goes in, will substantially impact the way people move in that intersection and in the vicinity of that intersection, whether they're on foot or whether they're in a vehicle. Under this proposed plan, any traffic moving left onto Grand is going to have a real battle on their hands to get into that traffic. And I really have concerns that Ms. Fisk articulated, I think, well in her question during the first presentation, that we're going to have some real issues. I don't think that that left turn, the center lane, is going to handle the problem. I don't think that left turn lane is going to handle the problem. I think what we're going to have is some bottlenecks through Campbell and Grand. I am very much concerned that there will be a much greater movement of pedestrians in the vicinity of this store and through the intersection than the planners of this project have contemplated. Not only do we have the residents immediately behind it and the neighborhood right behind it, but we all know there's a high school right down the road. We all know, I mean, we know because we're local, that there's a university just down the road. And I know, because I live in that neighborhood, what it means to have that many college students living in a very densely populated area. We also know that the density is increasing in that area. We've had a big surge of high-density residences going up in that area, and that is not going to change. I think, if anything, we're going to see more of that in those neighborhoods around it. These college students in particular may eat and play downtown, but they are not going to buy groceries downtown when there is a cheaper, closer alternative on the corner. So you're going to get a lot of pedestrian traffic moving into that particular corner. And again, anyone who lives in that neighborhood or around the university can tell you that these young people are not the, they don't walk down the street like we do. adults, they are highly impulsive, they are very idiosyncratic, they don't believe in the rules, and they're going to be walking across the street with their iPads and everything else and their MP3 players in their ears, and they're not going to be paying any attention. You add the high school drivers down the road, those juniors and seniors that are just learning how to drive, and then you add all those folks that are in a hurry trying to get to the market on their way to and from work, and you've got a potentially deadly mix. That's going to be one big mess, and I don't need an expert to tell me that. This problem alone would be enough to get me to vote against this project. But I think I agree with Mr. Bales that we would be sadly remiss as a city council if we limited our view to only the immediate impact of the neighborhood, to only the specific question of zoning. I think we as a council have an obligation to look at the effect of this particular expansion by Walmart into the area markets. What effect is it going to have on the city as a whole? We have tried very hard to develop an economically healthy environment. And because we have been successful at it, we survived 2008, 2009, and 2010 in reasonably good shape. But that took a lot of work. It's taken a lot of money. It's taken a lot of effort. I don't think it's the role of City Council to play favorites. I think that's the role of the consumer, to decide whether they want to go to Price Cutter or Walmart. I believe in competition. I think when there's competition, real competition, the consumer benefits, workers benefit, and the community as a whole benefits, and that's why I'm worried. Walmart is not just any corporation. We've all heard the phrase in the last few years, too big to fail, too big to regulate. Well, Walmart is a mega force in the marketplace with its own distribution network that reaches across borders and bypasses traditional local connections. We now have 9 Walmart stores in Springfield, including 5 supercenters. Springfield has the highest concentration of Walmart stores of any similarly sized community in our region, and this store would be the closest to the center city of any of those other markets. Why is that important? And I'm almost done. Because Walmart now controls 49% of the local grocery market and is poised to totally dominate it. They will be in a position to eliminate virtually all of their competition in Springfield. The wages that they pay their employees and their benefit policies will become the standard for any local business who tries to share the same market. For those at the upper end of the income scale, they will still have alternatives, particularly in the small niche markets. For the average consumer, there will be no real alternatives. And for the employees in this industry, there will be very few choices available. What Walmart saves in employee wages and benefits, we as a community will pay in Medicaid, food stamps, and other public services. A fair game presupposes that everyone plays by the same rules. When a company is so big that it can set its own rules, the game is not the same. We have a substantial presence of Walmart in the city of Springfield. It serves thousands of our residents, and it obviously fills a need. In recent months, they've taken steps to improve their corporate image and increase their civic role, and these are welcome changes, and I commend the corporation for those actions. However, I don't want Springfield to become a company town, and I don't want Walmart to be the town's company store. I cannot support this.